6 votes opposed.
Wellington region. Today is all about prepping for the big day to Parliament tomorrow.
Yeah, really beautiful looking day there. So what will people be doing today? Is it a bit of a rest day as we understand it?
It is a rest day, but it will be busy nonetheless. We're expecting hundreds, potentially thousands of people to pour in from 10 a.m. This morning. They'll be making signs, they'll be learning a haka and a waiata that they plan to perform on Parliament grounds tomorrow. They're here to meet the mana whenua Ngāti Toa. You can see some of their volunteers. And then finally the home stretch to Parliament. Now the Maori Queen will join them. Iwi leaders are here, kaumātua, children, kura, business leaders. Everyone you can think of is here. Tangata tiriti, Maori. It's a very diverse crowd and the energy is just electric. People are really excited. People have been looking forward to this, and the momentum really has been building, not just over the last 9 days, but over the last year. Tribunal to make, and it's hit the hearts of so many people here, not just Maori but many New Zealanders. They are chanting right now, but this is, if you can hear them, you see the signs, you see the flags, you see what they're wearing on their clothing. This means so much to people. I've been asking everyone I meet, how much does this mean? And the answer I keep getting is everything. Our tupuna fought for the treaty. They tell me their whānau are here, they brought their kids so that they remember that this is the day they stood up for the treaty and opposed this bill.
Yeah, it's going to set off very, very shortly.
Peering over balconies to catch a glimpse of history.
This is like one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences to see unity that you can actually feel like in the air, the atmosphere of Kotahitanga.
The view from above staggering as they inch closer to Parliament. Uniting not just Maori.
It's not right for our people from all parts of the world who have come to make Aotearoa New Zealand their home.
To support the whānau Maori and to make a statement that Te Tiriti is a covenant that we have made between the peoples for all time.
Many people carrying pepe, others carrying ancestors. It's clear why they are here.
To safeguard, to honour, to protect Te Tiriti o Waitangi. And I'm tired of it being, in so many ways, trampled on.
And it's clear what they want.
Cancel the bill, cancel the Senate committee, and if Mr Seymour doesn't like it, call a snap election.
But how much does it mean?
It weighs heavy on our shoulders.
It means everything. This is what our parents fought for, this is what our grandparents fought for.
On Lambton Quay, the Hīkoi stopped for the Queen. Te ariki nui Queenie ngā waihono I te pō stepping out of mourning to make a stand for the treaty. At Parliament, there was barely standing room.
What has happened today? The Maori nation has been born!
And together, a petition opposing the Treaty Principles Bill was delivered with over 200,000 signatures.
We will not stand by as the Treaty Principle Bill tries to diminish our rights.
Rights many here have vowed to keep fighting for as long as it takes.
Scale has meant it's been impossible to ignore, and today unity was on full display, not just by Maori but by tangata tiriti, but by the diverse cultures that make up Aotearoa. Young and old got behind this kaupapa.
As far as the eye could see, a Hīkoi for the generations, making history at Parliament.
We support the treaty and we think what David Seymour's trying to do is outrageous.
Who on earth has the audacity, and particularly when they have about, 8% of the vote for New Zealand, come on.
Squeezed in tightly, they stood shoulder to shoulder, even clambering up the hillside to play their part in opposing the Treaty Principles Bill.
Do what's right. Do what's right.
National sending out a small delegation as MPs, both former and current, witness the power of Te Tiriti.
We want to say to David Seymour, where is the privilege in being the most incarcerated race in our own whenua?
As the Hikoi began,
I see him on the news today saying that Rawiri Waititi told him not to come. You goddamn right I told you not to come. He said he wanted to have a say. You had your say on Thursday.
But as Rawiri Waititi spot, the Maori flag adorning Parliament's windows, serving as a reminder to those inside, this house belongs to the people. With thousands of people gathered here today, those who spoke laid down a challenge, not to David Seymour, but to Christopher Luxon, urging him to shorten the 6-month submission period for the Treaty Principles Bill, which begins today. The youngest MP now at the centre of it all.
This place is lonely. This place is isolating. We hear you and we feel you.
The weight of the debate laid bare.
Before the sun had risen, the Hutt Valley woke to crowds united for their final 14-kilometre journey to the capital on foot. And as daylight set in, those going by train packed the stations.
I'm here to support, our treaty, to honour the treaty. The government just trying to take over and take everything from us.
Metlink services were at full capacity, with extra carriages added and more than 35,000 commuters. Once the walking Hīkoi reached the city's outskirts, traffic started to build. An hour later, they arrived in the CBD, shutting down the streets. But under a watchful eye, police and patches standing metres from each other. The 9th day of the nationwide Hīkoi assembled at Waitangi Park, before the last march towards the halls of power.
We're not going to stand for really divisive politics.
I feel that as tangata tiriti, it's my obligation to be here, essentially.
I think it's good that New Zealanders as a whole are making a stand.
Not just New Zealand, there was support from international visitors too.
Because we want to support Maori. I've been really emotional, just how much support and how calm it is and just peaceful.
But she's a real Kiwi, so it's really important to me. I'm from an area in the US that has a really large Indigenous population. Indigenous rights matter, and teaching her that from day one is really important to me.
Students getting support from their schools for the day off.
So everyone gets a justified attendance if you get to come here, so it's pretty good. They send a big email about it and saying you're excused to go.
I came here to support our kaupapa and get our rights back.
Kiwis, visitors, young and old, everyone united for a powerful but peaceful protest.
It's cold, dark and pouring with rain, but that hasn't stopped hundreds of people coming here to the High Commission in London to protest for several hours. The night started with a karakia, followed by speeches and a waiata. Organisers say they only expected 20 or so people to turn up, but many more came. They spilled out onto the streets. Many say they were compelled.
Something else that we could do that was more positive, and so organising this gathering was a way of us coming together.
On the other side.
Very few issues from New Zealand make their way here to the other side of the world, and very few end up in protests like this. It just shows the depth of anger and angst this bill has created.
300 people in Rarotonga marching. Cook Islands Prime Minister Mark Brown backed the organisers' request to end the Hīkoi at the cenotaph, where for the first time the Tino Rangatiratanga flag was raised on the flagpole.
Marching much like their ancestors did, but with their eyes on the future. These protesters say they're fighting for the integrity of the Treaty of Waitangi, for them and their children. Many are Pakeha, non-Maori New Zealanders of European descent.
I think it shows that a lot of people who are of Pākehā descent are not supportive of this bill and do see the treaty as a founding document of New Zealand.
The march began more than 1,000 kilometres away at the remote northern tip of the country and ended on Tuesday outside the Parliament in Wellington.
My family are also Maori, so I want to do this for them because their land matters to them, and it's not just the people but their future generations.
School children granted permission to skip classes for the day got a first-hand history lesson. And history's at the heart of this debate. The Treaty of Waitangi was signed by representatives of the British Crown and more than 500 Maori chiefs in 1840. It guarantees Indigenous people land and cultural rights, which critics say could be threatened if the Treaty Principles Bill becomes law. The legislation was introduced by a junior member of the governing coalition. His opponents say he's polarising the country.
It's been harmful and really sad. It's painful to actually see ourselves be attacked like this, but today lifts our spirits and knows that we're not alone.
6 votes opposed.